What's going on? What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, great to see you too.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Hi, good to see you again.
Know,
What's
you
going
too.
on? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Damn, look at your front yard.
I know.
So tight. Local spot?
Yeah, local spot. Yeah, there's this shit steel stick job right there. The curb was just like falling apart. Skating it, and I like ollied up, backlip shoved. And then all this was under construction, so like there was like no traffic over here. And then I was trying the slappy 50 to 50, and we like, there's like a bunch of steel stick. We had to like get the curb going. It was like such a pain in the ass. It took a couple days. But it was nice to just skate up from the house, just skate here, skate home when you were done. The coffee shop was like laughing at me. We like went in there. She's like, "Did you get your trick yet?" I was just like, "Yeah, I think so." Since I was a kid, I've always been like drawing, messing around with like painting a little bit, but I would draw a lot more. I don't know why, but I just got really into like collage artwork. You know, majority just like paper collages, scanning them and just like making images that I thought were cool. Actually, during COVID, when the world shut down and I wasn't really like skating as much, I saw people kind of messing around with like resin work, like kind of making coffee tables and stuff like that. And I was like, I wonder if I can incorporate that with the collage work I do to kind of give it like a depth and make it like an actual piece.
He's such a perfectionist with everything that he does. He's so detail-oriented, way more than I am. Seeing him kind of like start doing something, same with skateboarding, and being like, this is kind of what I want the next step to be, and then doing that, and then being like, this is what I want the next step to be. And it's neat to get to see.
I don't really know where I drew most of my inspiration. It was just things that I was piecing together in my room and I just thought like looked cool, you know? Just seeing the old anti-hero ads, that is like a perfect example of like, you know, collage work that was just like incorporated into skateboarding. I've always thought it was cool when there was skateboarders that weren't just skateboarders. You know, growing up in Orange County, just like with Ed Templeton and Danny Garcia making music, just people like that I felt like I was more drawn to, that it was just, it kind of went like hand in hand with like skateboarding and like a creative outlet, and I just always thought that was cool. Actually, my mom and my dad, they were like artists as well. Like my mom would paint and my dad, he would actually restore cars and airbrush and everything. So they've been like pushing for me to like, you know, explore like creative outlets. And my dad, he skateboarded, rode bikes, dirt bike, like everything. So growing up, he was like building ramps in the front yard, taking me to Vans, broke his collarbone in the front yard on the ramp that he built. Yeah, so he's always been very supportive of, you know, me skateboarding and, you know, exploring like creative outlets.
Yeah. There it is. The machine. Yeah, and I even have a basket here. I'm not saying you could put beer in there, but I always lock it up. Everybody's all, nobody's gonna take it. I'm all, I don't care if they take your Huffy. They ain't taking my Schwinn. This thing was built in Chicago. See right there, Chicago. See that? Ryan obviously loves skating. So when he was younger, first thing I did, a little quarter pipe ramp. Well, next picture, you know, we kept going bigger and bigger.
We really were supportive with Ryan and his skating, because, I mean, when he was little, it was a passion. He would skate for hours trying to get that trick down. When he was little.
He would always be doodling, you know, little drawings here, there, and then just everything he would do was super creative.
Moms would call me up, I just saw your son skateboarding down the street, and then he had a teacher that told him, he said he wanted to be a pro skater, and she said, that's never gonna happen.
Over the years, just watching Ryan grow from a little kid kicking around a skateboard to doing these beautiful artwork pieces, plus his skateboarding has just far exceeded anything I have seen. And I try to convey that to all my friends or neighbors that say, oh, did your kids go to college? I go, well, 2 out of 3. I go, but the first one didn't go, and it was the best decision of his life.
So here it is.
There it is.
Townley 15. This is the kink.
15.
Look, you can see where they
rewelded.
There's a 15 stair in Anaheim Hills, and my dad bunny hopped it on a beach cruiser, like the 15 flat, which is insane. And then when I was starting to skate handrails, I thought you had to go like stair by stair. So I got to a point where I was like, okay, I board slid a 14, I need a 15 stair. And when you're like a kid, you don't know like that there's better spots. So me and my buddy went there and I like cut the kink off and I like board slid the 15, landed on the flat, super sketchy.
He came home and he showed me a video of him going down the handrail. I'm like, is that the one over by the music maker, the corner? And he goes, yeah. I said, I jumped that. He goes, what? And I go, my beach cruiser. We'd start across the street, go diagonal across the intersection. Dude, I would launch that thing. I broke 6 pairs of forks over the years.
But I kept the kink because it's like the Townley 15 stair over there. Sometimes when I've like created art in the past and like posted it, it was like a bit of like an imposter syndrome, you know? Like you're like, is this cool? Like, do people actually like this, or is it just because I skateboard, you know? When I've like made pieces that I'm super stoked on, it's almost like the same feeling of like filming a trick where I'm just like, this is awesome, like I'm stoked. So I think ultimately it comes down to like yourself being into it, you know?
Things look like his at this point. Like when I see something of his, it's very him. And they're also like, just all of them look cool and different.
I think it's cool, and I think Ryan's medium specifically isn't anything that I've ever done. And I like that because I get to critique him from just what I know, whether things are balanced, how things are sort of translating, whether certain colors are coming out, or if a background is sort of like helping the whole entire collage, or if it's taking away from the collage. Like that's how I know how to critique. He can talk to me about what he brings to it too, and I think that's really cool.
He's good. He's good enough where when my mom died, I had all of my National Geographics when I was a kid that I was gonna use for reference. I gave them all to him so he can cut them up and use them, because I was like, he's gonna make something way better than I can make with these.
His art is super rad. Every time I go there, he's like, what do you think of this one? Which one do you like better? Like, what's cooler here? And I'm like, dude, they're all so rad. And he spends a lot of time on them, which is cool.
So we took a collage that he did and I redrew it and made it like a vector file. I think I did that for the first 3 graphics. I took stuff that he had already put collages together with and then redrew it, added pieces to it. And then that kind of moved on where we just started saying, let's just run your graphic, and then we would lay it out so it works on a skateboard. And now we're using his girlfriend's art all the time. She's been drawing for him.
This one I was stoked on because they ran it like as the actual collage. This Reaper on a horse, Jason like hit me up and he was like, dude, like where did you get this image? You know, like I feel like we're gonna get like a cease and desist thing. Like it seems like it's like this dude's art. And I was just like, dude, there's no way. Like I get all my stuff from like these like super old magazines. So I started like Googling it and like trying to figure out where it was from. And it was like from like the 30s. It was like this weird stopped forest fires image. And this dude like found the same image and like painted it and like kind of claimed it like it was his or something. And like it's such a cool image too for like a forest fire or whatever, like this like Reaper like on a horse.
There's certainly aspects, I think, to his work that translate well into tattooing and certain things that don't. I started tattooing about 5 years ago. I work at Nathan's Lounge in Echo Park. I had some friends who were tattooers and they kind of just encouraged me to do it and taught me stuff, and it was very loose, but I started tattooing just friends and people and got a job at a shop like a year after I kind of was messing around. I feel so lucky and grateful to be working with Nate and Tanner and in that shop.
I'm stoked that I started getting tattooed when I did, like after like, you know, just like being in the world with like Delaney and seeing how she's gotten into tattooing, and then the tattooers that like she's into. Bad tattoos are awesome in their own way, but like, yeah, if I did end up getting tattooed when I was 16, I probably would have gotten stuff that would have been really bad. So I'm stoked that now I'm like, okay, I'm getting tattooed by like artists that I'm like really into their art and like what they create, you know?
I don't know, the way that my tattoo kind of life has gone, I just didn't ever think that I would be learning from people like that. And so I'm just really happy all the time and lucky to be doing that. And
yeah, there we go. Delaney did this one. Yeah, it turned out super rad. Power couple.
I just posted a recent piece and Dennis from Familia reached out and he was like, hey dude, have you ever had a show? And like I said, since I got into this during COVID, there wasn't, any time to like really have a show. So I was like, no, never done it. And he was like, I'll talk to Converse and maybe we can make it into a collab thing with like Go Skate Day. We could have you doing your show and then we could even bring Delaney out to Tattoo to kind of make it like a whole event. Yeah, I was stoked, but yeah, there was a bit of being overwhelmed of mostly the time frame. Even though I work well with a deadline, it was kind of just like, all right, I'm counting the weeks until Go Skate Day, and I might have gone over my head saying I'm doing 10 pieces because each one takes a week, and I'm like, how many days can I like take off? Do I have to do this like every single day? But yeah, it worked out, so I was stoked.
Wow! Whoa! Try that one more time. Woo! Let me get one like this.
You want me to sit down?
No, you're perfect.
It's actually pretty funny. We met at a house party, maybe 4 months into me moving to California. Yeah, he came up to me, he was like, oh yeah, you're friends with Matt, like you take pictures, yada, 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 we should skate sometime.
I think he was one of the first people that we got photos ran like in Thrasher. Like that was kind of, we were both like just struggling, like trying to make something work. Like Alex was living in like a 1-bedroom apartment with like 6 people.
We started like shooting a lot of photos together and kind of just like spending a lot of time together. He lived in Orange County at the time. They hit me up to go on like this cross-country road trip for a month. And I was just like, no brainer. Like, it was just like me and all my friends. And so we all went on this trip together and we shot all these photos and it ended up on the Thrasher website and we just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I don't really remember how it unfolded, but we had like 3 like really gnarly tricks that we were sitting on and we sent all the photos to Burnett and he was super stoked on it. And that ended up being the first thing that I ever had in Thrasher. And it was just cool because I got to like do it with my friend, you know? He's like kind of the reason why I was able to like do anything. I mean, the same thing with Ryan too. Like Ryan started getting hooked up by so many people after that came out because like, dude, there were some tricks in there. I remember there was like a kickflip front wall ride and no one had like really done like a proper kickflip front wall ride at the time.
We were selling to Terrace Skate Shop in Fullerton, and he was a shop rider for them. And so we started giving him board, kind of like a shop flow thing. And as we kept watching him, and I think he had a part or something, and they're like, well, we should really do something with him. And that was it. We just reached out based on his skating. And the thing that I liked about Ryan from the get-go was he's like a working man's skater. Like it doesn't come super easy to him, but he works really hard. And I love that, and that was what was inspiring about him. He didn't have any like favors. Like he just did it in hard work opposed to like marketing.
Fuck! God damn it, dude! Why the fuck?
it's hard seeing him limp around the house all the time. It's cool, like, seeing his world is such a unique niche world, similar to tattooing, that I enjoy getting to know it through his sort of lens and getting to be a part of it in the way that I get to.
Townley is just ready to go as soon as, like, when he's ready, he wants everyone to be ready. Like Jason was saying, he's just like a hard worker. So like whenever we have something to do, he's like, okay, we're gonna go out. I need an Instagram clip. I need to get a clip. I need to get a photo. So when we go out, it's like clock in, boom, trick, done. What's next? Go to the park, get an Instagram clip, boom, done.
A lot of the spots he skates aren't things that people are skating, and maybe it's something that, you know, he spent a week finding or whatever. You know, he obviously puts time into finding the spots that he's filming on. So the type of art, obviously the collage stuff, you have to find those images. So I just imagine him being the same way with like going and finding these old magazines, you know, whether it's like going to yard sales or thrift stores or something. Like, it's a perfect matchup of like what he does skating wise, and like, you know, I think it does make sense that he's doing this kind of art.
You know, he's like one of the icons of the brand at this point. You know, all of us, we want to, you know, make a mark on skateboarding, and I think Ryan embodies that.
Last time I went full commit and the board wasn't there, so I just like jumped to like fucking body the curb. There's a lot going on over here. Fuck, that one was fucking perfect.
You should have told about this. So,
Yeah, we're gonna stay here for just a little bit longer. He's almost done, and then we're gonna go. We'll be very quick.
This is great. They're on it. Professional skate stoppers.
You guys should have no skateboarding signs. Nobody knows. Within 10 minutes, they've printed off. You got big sheets of paper, color printer on deck. That's impressive. That's a first.
Thanks, bros. You guys are real bros.
Yeah, I got you.
Got to see how blue collar I am when it comes to skateboarding.
Hey, man. Uphold our end of the deal. Signs go back.
Like I said earlier, like the imposter syndrome kind of like kicks in, where am I like, can I label myself as an artist? Like, I'm just like making these things, like do people like these? Like, is it actually good? So I think it is kind of like you are your worst like critic kind of thing, you know, with especially when it comes to my artwork more than anything else.